Hi, and thanks for tuning in to another board recap from me, Superintendent Anderson. We had a board meeting last night in Carlin. It was a great meeting, and I just want to give you a quick overview of what we talked about last night. First we started off with an introduction of our student board member, who is Haley Warren. Haley is a senior at Carlin High School, where she serves as the student body president. She's a member of student council for all 4 years, and she's also the vice president of their Skills USA organization. Haley is the captain of the Carlin Fire Cadets, which is a program she's been dedicated to for 5 years with the Carlin Volunteer Fire Department. Very impressive. And she's also a member of the National Honor Society, the Academic Olympics team, the Honor Guard, and cheer. Currently, Haley is taking EMT classes and plans to attend college for nursing after she graduates. So Haley is a very involved, very valuable member of the senior class in the Carlin student body, and we loved having her on our board last night. She was a wonderful participant. After introducing Haley, we were able to acknowledge a couple of students, one of whom was Haley, actually. So Haley and another student named Emily McNamara were acknowledged by the administration of Carlin Combined School for being outstanding community leaders and being an example for all of the other students during the Kindness Week that Carlin had recently. And so the vice principal over there at Carlin Combined, Mrs. Coppinger, took some time to just acknowledge all the wonderful ways that those students, Haley and Emily, exhibit kindness and good example for all those around them. So it was awesome to have, we do lots of different kinds of recognitions, often, achievement related or athletics related or student organizations related, but this was a wonderful recognition of just students who are great examples of being kind. So thanks to Emily and to Haley for contributing to their community in that positive way. After that, we were able to hear from Carlin Combined's Academic Olympic team, and they gave the school board a kind of an overview of what the Academic Olympics are that they participate in every year and how their team did, and even threw a few questions at the board for them to just get a feel for how they compete. So that was fun and a great presentation from those students. Then we moved into another presentation, but I'm going to save that for the end, and we're going to skip ahead to the action items that we had. After all those presentations, we had 4 discussion and action items. The first was a receipt of a facilities and construction update from our Director of Facilities and Operations, Mr. Matt Stalkey, and he gave just a good overview of the recently completed projects as well as current ongoing projects, and then a little bit of a look ahead to what's coming in the coming months. But the one that was kind of most discussed and most at hand there while we were in Carlin was the very near completion of the Carlin Elementary playground that we've been working on over the course of this last summer as well as leading into the school year. So very exciting things happening there. We have a great collaboration going on with Nevada Gold Mines and the Carlin Complex. And so later this week, actually, some of these playground structures are all going to be installed, and then the main playground structure and equipment is actually here and will be installed, we're pretty sure, by the company next week, and then we'll get the mulch down, and so we're really targeting by the end of the month, which is really just another week away after this week. So excited for Carlin Elementary kids and the Carlin community to finally have their playground completed. Long time coming and a little longer than we'd originally planned, but thanks to collaboration and generosity from our community partners, we're excited to have that being completed real soon. Then we talked about 3 policies, all of which were on our last agenda, and I talked about 2 weeks ago, but just as a quick overview, one of those, which is now titled ADB, which is school attendance areas for attendance outside of an assigned zone of attendance. The term that we use a lot around here is the variance for people who want to attend a school that they're not zoned to. As a recap, within the last legislative session, AB 533 created some new rules that are supposed to go into effect starting July 1st of next year. And so this policy, ADB, is kind of laying the groundwork so we can get into compliance with our variance procedures and with open enrollment as we enter the next school year. So the details of that policy as is constituted now, because it was passed last night, that is available at the link below, so feel free to look at that. It's not going to represent an entirely new structure for our variances, but there will be some changes to that. So now that this policy is in place, we'll be able to create the changes that we need to our variance request forms and start to communicate how that'll work in our district. After that's all finalized, we'll have a few more edits to this policy in the spring, and that's kind of our timeline to hopefully have it all ready to go for the lead into the next school year. The next policy we passed was policy DHF. It was an amendment to this policy, which is called travel and other employee reimbursements. Just a couple of very minor changes on that policy. If you're interested in what those changes were, check them out at the link below. But so that was passed. And then the last one that was passed is policy GCC 07, titled Vacation for Unlicensed Employees. And there were actually a lot of changes to this policy, but of note is none of those, that this was kind of a getting us into compliance with what we're already doing sort of situation. So the language that's reflected in this revision to this policy is all to put it in order with the changes that were made to the classified union agreement back in 2003. So that is what we did with that policy, and it is passed. And then the last thing we talked about, going back to what would have been 1.07, was our presentation from Portrait of a Learner Development Committee. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that. I'm not going to read it word for word. There are 2 links that accompany this item on the board recap document. And I encourage you to both go to our website where you can look at all this in more detail, as well as the presentation that is posted here. And but I'm going to go over a little bit of that. So first off, I want to give a lot of gratitude and recognition for everybody who participated in not only our large committee but our subcommittees, and also for those who participated in the surveys that went out. I calculated somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 to 400 total people that all gave their opinion in this format. And our big committee that we had was comprised of a lot of people from all across not only our school district but our community, where we had representatives from GBC, we had representatives from our school district, from local business owners and partners that work with the district, with an elected official and one of our county commissioners, and some state mental health supports, and parents and students and beyond. So really grateful for everyone that gave up their time towards this. So to answer a quick question, which a lot of people have sometimes, is what is this Portrait of a Learner that I've been hearing about? What does that even mean? It gets called lots of different things. For us, it is our Portrait of a Learner, and what a portrait does is essentially it operationalizes our vision and our mission statement, and it creates these competencies, and competencies acknowledge the knowledge, skills, and dispositions that we aspire for all of our students to have when they graduate. So regardless of what class they're in, or what content they're in, or what clubs they participate in, or sports, whatever their path is, they should be able to gain all of these competencies, these knowledge, skills, and dispositions in order to be successful for whatever their next steps are in life. And essentially what this does is it creates what we think of as our North Star, with all budgeting decisions, with all staffing decisions, etc. When, curriculum adoptions, everything should be seen through this lens of how is this going to help our students, attain those competencies that they want to have, and how can it be true to our profile of a learner. So the end product, which is visible on the website, if you'll pull that up, and I'm not going to read everything here, but I'm just going to call out what those 4 competencies are. Where that we want our students to be capable communicators, to be creative problem solvers, to be responsible and engaged learners, and to be trustworthy leaders. And we had our student who was part of who was our board member last night, who was also part of this profile committee. She was able to present on these 4 competencies and why they're meaningful to her and how important they are to all kids. And so really great presentation by her, and appreciate the insight that she gave into that. And I would strongly encourage, we're going to communicate this a lot more, but I strongly encourage you to take a look not only at the document that shows what those competencies are, but there are descriptions under each one of those 4 competencies that really start to detail kind of what that looks like. What does it even mean to be a capable communicator, to be a creative problem solver, and how we'd like to accomplish that. As one of our presenters also said, this profile is not meant to just be a pretty poster that gets hung on the wall and that's it, but rather this is the beginning. We've spent a year working on getting to this point with all the community feedback and focus groups and group meetings, and so the next steps are to go into creating what are called learning progressions. And a learning progression is a detailed description of paths that a learner will follow as they go from early knowledge, skills, and understanding to more advanced knowledge, skills, and understanding within each competency. And the way that looks is we will now think about who are all the people we need to bring to the table, which will consist primarily of teachers from across our district, to think about how do these learning progressions fit into their grade levels, into their grade level bands, how do they fit into each content area, and how do we make it so that these learning progressions help bring those competencies into every aspect of what we do. And it's definitely not meant to be this is one more thing in addition to what we're already doing, but how can we adjust our practice so that ever present in all we teach are these efforts to try to help our kids become those capable communicators, those creative problem solvers, those engaged learners, and those trustworthy leaders. So those will be the next steps, and we'll be gathering people to participate in the learning progression development, which will start to take place in February. I would encourage you to not only go to those links below to look more in depth into what is a learner profile and what are the competencies and what is the progressions, but also to view the presentation in its entirety. That can be found on our YouTube video, and I just want to give a special shout out and thanks to the 5 committee members who volunteered their time and came and gave a presentation. So those folks were Carrie Meisner from GBC, Heather Steele, our very own Heather Steele, who is our CTE coordinator in Elko County School District, Brian Gale, one of our county commissioners, Haley Warren, who I introduced before, one of our students at Carlin, and then Mr. Zach Gerber, who's an attorney in Elko, and also, as he highlighted, an involved community member and a parent of kids in our schools, and really appreciate the time and investment that they all put into it, and strongly encourage you to do the same, to learn more about it, and really excited for what's next to come. And that kind of wraps up what our board meeting was. So thank you so much for paying attention to the recap and looking into these resources, and look forward to sharing one with you next time.